All right, welcome back to Genius. So, today we'll be doing a small project called Cash the Coin. So this is like us rounding up from all the things that we have done so far in our week, in the first week of our Pi game um series. So now let me show you what the game looks like. This is what the game looks like. So if I run this now, we have this game. Okay. Now, if we're able to move, we can move the this is the player now, all right? This is our player. But remember, we can actually change this into image or any other thing. So now once this player touches the coin, you can see now that our score has been updated, and then our the coin has changed position. Look at it. I hit again, change position. I hit again, change position. I hit again, change position. So yeah, I know this is very simple, but the thing is, it summarizes all the things that we have done so far. Okay, so as we go, I will continue to learn. We'll be doing something more sophisticated. Okay, all right. So now this is what the game looks like. So let's get into building this game. All right. So the name of the project is Cash the Coin. And if a player is searching for magical good coins, so a player is actually searching for magical good coins. So every time the player catches one of the coin, that means touching the coin, the score increases. So anytime we move the red rectangle, all right, once it touches the coin, that is when we are moving around, we're actually searching. So as we hit the coin, that means we have actually found the coin, then our score increases. So the coin appears somewhere else, like it changes position. It appears somewhere. So the game continues until the player closes it. So this game includes we will create the game window, we create background, we create player, the coin, we use keyboard controls, we detect collisions, we also create random coin movement. Our score will be increasing. We have a score counter, we have the game loop. All right. So what are the skills that we are going to be using here? It combines everything that we have learned so far during the week. Day one, we talked about game window. Day one, we all talked about game loop. Day two, we started drawing shapes. We did colors in day two, images and text in day three, keyboard movement in day four. So collision detection and random position is what we are going to be looking at this class. Okay. So the first thing first is that, okay, first thing first, of course, create a folder. For me, I have created this folder already. So I've created a folder already. So what I can do is, okay, I would go create a folder, open it in VS Code. So what I will do is that I'll come here and let me just open another file. Maybe I'll call this file, let me call it game.py. All right, so that now the first thing we need to do is to import the libraries we'll be using. So I'm going to say import pygame. I will import Pygame. Then we would also be using the random module because we'll be creating random position for our coin. So I will import the random module. All right. What next? Okay, we need the two libraries, Pygame and random module. So why random? The random module allows us to place the coin at different position each time it is collected. So once the player collects the coin by colliding with the coin, then we randomly change the coin's position. Okay, so we need to initialize the game. All right. When we initialize the game, so let me put this thing side by side so that it should. All right, good. So now what do we need to do? We need to initialize the game. So I will say pygame.init. All right. So you already know that. Oh, sorry. Hmm. You already know that the init function prepares pygame for use. Okay, we talked about this thing in the first class. So now we create the game window. So let us have some of these constants. We create the game window, the width, the height. So we create it as a constant. and then 800, then the height. Mhm. The height is 600. Then let us create our screen. That would be pygame dot display dot set mode. Then we have the width. We have width, we have height. Okay. And then we would give it caption and pygame dot display dot set caption. Then the caption is catch the coin again. Okay. So now we have initialized our Pygame. We have created constants for our width and the height. We have created our screen. We have also given it caption. So now let also because we'll be working with colors. So the last time in our previous classes we mentioned that it is good to have your colors in a constant in a constant like this. So now we are going to create a color for white, and that would be 255, 255, 255. Okay. The next color will be black. And zero, sorry, 000. The next one will be blue. And 50, 150, 255. This is not just pure blue. We also added some red and some green. Then we work with yellow. 255, 215. Then there is no green at all. There is no blue at all. We work with red. We have 255, 0, 0. Okay, so these are our constants. Okay, these are our constants. Now let's create the player. Now the player is simply a rectangle. You can actually load an image. Do you understand? We can actually use an image. So you can actually load an image. So when we do this, we get the player size. All right. We get the player's X axis, Y coordinate, and then speed. So let's go on with it. So this player size will be used for both width and height. All right. It will be used for both width and height. I can just say player X. I can say player width height. Do you understand? And go with 50. And player S. So the S coordinate, where would the player be? Where are we going to start the player? 375. The S coordinate of it, where are we going to start it on the Y coordinate? We are doing 275. Then the speed. So you can make it slower, you can make it faster. All right? You can make it slower, you can make it faster. So now our coin is going to be yellow. So now we have to create what's it called, a circle. So every game starts with the coin in a random location. So now let us okay. So the next thing is let us clean our coin radius. Remember, when we try to create a circle, we actually need radius. So let us have radius here. Coin, sorry, coin X coordinate would be. So we are going to randomly do this. Okay, we'll randomly do this. So random random dot run int. Okay, that's 20, between 20 and 780. So we want to randomly create this between 20 and, remember our width is 800. So between 80, we want the coin to be between 80 and 780. So this will give us a random integer between 20 and 780. We also want to create the coin Y. Okay, and random dot run int. Random dot run int we do between 20 and 580. Remember, our width is 600. Sorry, our height is 600. So every game starts with a coin in a random position. So now let us create our score. We also need a font. So remember, we'll create our font. We'll create a font, then we'll also render it. So now we also need to create our game clock. Remember when we talked about the game clock so that our game will be running smoothly in all the devices players will be using because some computers are faster than others. So if you don't regulate this game clock, all right, it will be difficult. It will not be consistent in all devices. So you have to also we create our score variable. We start from 0, then we create our font. Our font will be pygame dot font dot, let's use the default font. So we say none, and then we want the font size to be 36. So clock is equal to pygame. So let's get the clock. Pygame dot time dot clock. So now let's just start working on the event loop. So remember, you need to have your event loop. If not, your game will not be running. So let us start the event loop. So first of all, our running variable will be equal to true. Then while this is still true, while the running is still true, we want to get the game running. So we say for event in pygame dot event dot get. Okay. Now if event dot type is equal to pygame.quit. So the user wants to quit. They have clicked on the window button. If it is equal to quit, what do we want to do? We change the run into false. Okay. So let me come out of the for loop. All right. So now remember we'll be using keyboard to move our what's it called again? Our player. So we need to work on all the possible directions. So now we'll get the keys from pygame.key. So we are going to get all the keys that the user might actually um, use, or the key pad that the user. So we use the get pressed. So pygame.key dot get pressed. So it gives us the keys. So we now say if the keys if the pygame dot if this k left, if it is k left, we want to move the player. We want to reduce the player x-axis. So we want to reduce it by 5, which by the speed. I don't know what your own speed is. Okay. So if let me just copy this, it will be easier for me. If it is right, what do we want to do? We want to add, okay. And if it is up, we want to reduce the y-axis. And if it is down, we want to increase. So we use plus here. Okay, so we all have all the four keys we'll be using to move the player. Now, remember, we need to keep the player inside of the window. We have to keep the player inside of the window so it doesn't go outside of the window. So what do we do? Okay, so we would the player X, the player X would be the max will return the maximum of two numbers. So the first number will be 0, and the second number will not be the return value of mean. Mean will give you the lowest, as in the lowest number. So we are saying the width. Oh, sorry, that's not what I want to do. Width minus player X, as in player width height. It could be like if you use player size, that's okay too. All right. Now we are saying give us the maximum of between 0 and what, remember, first of all, the mean function returns the minimum value between the two. So the player X and the width minus player width. Okay. So I explained this thing in the last class. Then we would also work on the Y too. And then we are looking at the player Y. Make sure you don't make mistake with this thing. And here should be height. Because if there's any mistake, it could be a logical error here and it will be difficult for you to find out. So now we have fixed that. So how do we detect collisions? When two objects collide, how do you detect it? Pygame provides rectangles objects that make collision detection very easy. So you can create this, the player rect. Okay, so we'll talk more about this. We have a separate week for discussing collision. So don't sweat on this. Don't sweat on this. So just know that if you have objects and you want to detect collisions, so here we'll create our player rect. Sorry. We'll create our player rectangle object, and we use the pygame dot um, rect. Then what do? We pass in the player x. We pass in the player x, the player y, the player y, the player size, the player width height. Uh, um, Okay, now because we are going to use because the player width height uh, gives us both the height and the width. So that is why we are creating a rectangle. So when you create a rectangle, you give the x and y coordinate, you give the width and the height. So for us, our player, the width and the height is the same thing. So that's why we are using the two of them here. So now let us go and create the coin rectangle. So we are creating the player rectangle and we are creating the what's it called again? The coin rectangle. So whenever two of them collide, we will know. So this is how we check for collision. So, but let's go. Let's create our let's create our coin. Let's create our coin rect object. So pygame Let me just copy this. Okay. Let me just copy this. So here, I'm using the coin X. Okay. And then, uh, so I'm using coin S minus coin rect, coin radius. Okay. And then the next one, I will use coin Y minus coin radius. Okay. Then the width of our coin would be the coin radius multiplied by 2. The same thing for the height. Make sure you have all these things correct. Then how do we now detect collision? We will use we say if player rect dot collide rect. All right. So if the player collides with the coin rect, then we coin rect. So what do we want to do? We will just increase our score. We'll say score plus equal to 1. Okay. So what is collide rect? Collide rect, you get it, is a method that you get from the rectangle object. It checks whether two rectangles overlap. So it returns true if they touch each other, and otherwise it returns false. So when we are saying player rect dot collide rect, we give you the coin. So we are checking if both of them have touched each other. So, but don't worry, we'll talk about collision in a separate week. So let us now move the coin. We need to move the coin. So whenever the player is collected, we have to move the coin. So now inside, okay, let me continue. Let me see what we have here. All right, so inside of our if condition, so immediately we increase the score. We also need to change the coin. Oh, sorry. We need to change the coin X. Okay, we need to change the coin S to a run. We also have to do random dot run int. So we want to say 2780. So we are creating a random. Okay, then the coin Y would be random dot rand int. Okay, so what we have done here is that we have actually immediately there's a collision, we increase the score, and then we change the position of the coin. Then after doing that, what do you need to do before we draw any of these coins, any of this rectangle, whether it's the circle or the rectangle or any shape at all, we need to clear the screen by using the fill method, and then we are passing in blue. We have blue. So we are passing in blue, so the screen will be blue. Before we draw any rectangle at all, we need to draw the background. We need to draw the background. So now let us go and draw the players. We have two players. So let's draw them. We have two shapes. So let us draw the player. Pygame dot draw. Okay, dot rect. Okay, so where do we want to? We are drawing on the screen. And then what color we want to give red, and then what is the position? We say player X and player Y, then player size, player width and player height. Okay. Then let us also go to draw the coin. So we say Pygame dot draw dot circle. We want to draw a circle. Then we are drawing on the screen. The color is yellow. Oh, sorry. The color is yellow. And then um oh, I think I made a mistake. Sorry. Okay, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, okay, it's cool. So my coin X, my coin Y, and then the radius coin radius. All right, so we have drawn our shapes to the screen. So now let us display the score. So we'll create the font. Oh, we have created font already. Yes, we have created font already. So what we need to do now is let us now draw the score. Say score text is equal to, we have to render font dot render. All right. What do we want to render on? We want to render this text. We are using the F string. We want to render score. Then we'll use the passing score. And then we are using the anti-alias true. And then our color is white. The color for our text is white. All right. Then we now have to bleed. We'll bleed this text, screen.bleed. We bleed this text and score text. We bleed it onto our screen. That's we copy it onto our screen. We talked about in the last class. We bleed the score text on the screen. Where do you want to position it? You want to position it on 2020. So after doing that, remember you must update. You must update your, sorry, is display. You must update. So wait, all these things. Okay, so let's see what we have all together. But I think, wait, all these things are they in the while loop? Okay, yeah, all of them are in the while loop. Okay, that's good. All right, so after that, if we are out of the while loop, I want to call pygame.quit method. Remember. So now, so this is what we have. I want you to check your own too. You can just pause the video and see if you check everything, see if you have the same thing. So all fingers crossed. Let's run the game and see if we don't have any error. Okay, there's an error. Let's see. Coin is not defined. Okay, it says coin is not defined. So let's go and see where we have that. Coin what's the line? Line 62. So let's check our line 62. Coin is not defined. Oh my God, this is supposed to be coin X. Here, look at it. It's supposed to be coin X. Right, all right. So let's try it again. All right, you see, we are good. Mm-hmm. It's not dictating. You can see. Okay, but um, something is not working right. And even, okay, I know where this thing happened. It will be on the collision. So let's go and see our collision. If there is a collision here, we okay, so let's see. I take this out and let's run again. Okay, so let me see. I think this is where we are having issue. If our player collide with this, we increase the score worked, but our collision. Okay, let me give me a minute. Let me figure out where the problem is. I will come back. You see, I can see so many problems here. Our coin S should be minus coin radius here. Okay, it should be minus coin radius, and then we should also coin S minus coin radius, coin Y minus coin radius minus. Okay, this is cool. Player weight height, player S, player. Okay, this is good. Now, this the problem is happening at Okay, so now after we are not even after updating, please add this code. We have to say clock, remember clock dot tick, and that is why my this thing was moving so fast. Clock dot tick, okay. So we want it to tick for 60. So let's run again and see if everything is okay. Can see because now you can see now I regulated the speed. Okay, you can see everything is working fine. I think the problem was my in my rectangle when I was creating the okay, see everything is working fine now. Okay, everything is working fine. Yeah. So now you can see what happened here is that the mistake I made before, first of all, add this one. It wasn't this, the clock tick was not the main problem, but it just now, before the clock tick, it was moving so fast. So, but now, add the clock tick there. But the issue was that I was saying, when I was creating the coin, I said coin S minus coin X. It should be coin X minus coin radius. So make sure, fix your own, make sure that your game is working. And if it is working, congratulations. If it's not working, please reach out to me and let us figure it out. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next class.